So, let me see. So, what we're doing is finishing the project of yesterday. So, I see in few of the comments. Sorry for not replying. Because when I was trying to debug, I'm like concentrating to debug the issue. I'm not like looking at the messages, unfortunately. And so, I'm trying just to. Okay, this is unrequired at the point over here. Let me try. So I'm not installing nothing into the environment. I'm actually just using the environment as a set for Python version. But I'm actually structuring the packages inside with the starter. So even if you see conflict messages, it's because it's going through the history of the packages installed within the environment, but the environment doesn't contain any packages. So the message would be displaying a conflict. Well, actually, there isn't. So if you wish to install like a package in a certain folder, you just type the pip install, the package name of packages, then the dash G for target, and then the location of the folder from the point, which is over here, which is GUI, and then after that another slash UI whisper and packages, which will lead toward GUI UI whisper, and then torch 21 packages. No, let's try again to see if I'm gonna do it. Okay. So start from the program and installation to folder and install it the torch back. do this instead. And then install one more package. Now it's just gonna rebuild again. This is fine now. Okay. More window culture. So we'll find we install the packages. So if we remove this one, well, we got it already running. I'm like trying to make it run on both CPU and GPU preference. That's why I'm running into debugging mode. Because over here, as you can see, it's still picking just the device of CPU. So to explain more, so for example, you cannot install two versions of Torch at the same time and use them. You will have conflicts. So that's the logic of this procedure, is actually to avoid that conflict and still having both of them running separately, avoiding all the conflict of packages. Perfect. Now we just get separate packages required. Although this procedure will expand the model, for example, each model will have its own consistent packages, which will extend the model for a few GBs, but will run efficiently, so you would not have any troubles. You can contain all the models like that you want. For example, I'm like adding multiple models here that I'll be using and putting them together in a single software. Let's try now. And should be saying GPU. Is that? It is running. It's just like takes a bit. And here we are. We're getting CPU and we're getting the GPU. So now if we put the torch now. Let me test with, okay, it's by default GPU, not CPU, but we get a requirement NB, nets, which we have called over here, so I'm just gonna remove it. Now if I do so, since I have them in other packages, so I don't want to reinstall them. But if I pull them from the package, it will have a conflict. Uh, so let me do one thing. No, I'm just gonna have to add one more over here. This. Let me try now. Let me put this. And then put packages. Okay. And then root there. So and then if I do this, it should run. Because it's adding the package first, we'll be using GPU, CPU, okay. Problem again is actually from here. Ratio because the root is the pre-parent, which is the outside of the UI. That's why I was not getting it correct. Now if I do it like this, let's say that the problem is slash there's one more space. Now the good news is we got the GPU. Now the problem is we set language, and then we missed the output, which should be not a text. And the language. Okay, let me try this one over here. This device should be a damp and our model in TNT. So whisper fast. We import some whisper fast. We may have it on our processor management. We got a problem to the whisper. TNT, either we add the mobile inside processes or we're modifying the entire model because it's going to be running in both. So having changing few packages position may create a lot of things. So now we got it running. So it says over here added GPU, and then it's starting loading. Now we should be monetizing our GPU usage instead of CPU, which is perfect. So the point is like to toggle between what we want to use. So we have used the GPU right now. Let's test the CPU. So CPU, and now let's monetize what's gonna happen, where it is gonna go. Now it wrote down CPU, which is good. Now watching our CPU usage. So the GPU is reduced down. Now that's just a warning, it's not an error, but if you watch over here, we notice that it's using 60% of the CPU. Although the GPU still was not clean. That's why we have this tree point. Now it's starting to clean down, which should be reduced. Now this is one. Now we're gonna jump to the second one. Side. I'm just gonna just look at our Whisper project stable. What do you have inside? I do have packages. Let me do one thing. Let me remove the torch outside Whisper and put it here so I can use it in multiple points. So instead of having it here, I'll move it outside. Because if I keep it inside there, either I have two options: keep creating the same folder, which is 5 GB, or either put it outside and let it be accessible for all the root if needed. It may take time because we're talking about 5Gs entirely, but we shall see. Usually I would do it with commands, which is more efficient, more quickly. No, it got moved out. Perfect. To make sure our Whisper will still work, even if the folder is moved, we're just gonna reroute it to the current content. Now, if I try again, Whisper, and put it out. Uh, it's in Whisper processor, importing Whisper, fast Whisper. So our problem is actually importing fast Whispers. Fast Whisper shouldn't be imported here. Now try import fast Whisper. Transcribe. Or else it's gonna use Whisper. So in our case, we're gonna remove error and we're gonna remove the try, and then we're just gonna put this back there. We try back again. And where do we have Whisper import? We don't need it. Actually, we need Whisper, but outside. Yeah. Then just go here. Like that. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. I need actually either. Let me see. What's gonna happen is it's gonna look to you first, and then so yeah, that was it. I needed to describe that it's in here, then not outside more or more than that. So it's still working, that's what we need. Now the same into this fine whisper. Let's try stable whisper. So what we have. We're just gonna create a processor for the whisper inside here. So we're gonna call it, let's call it processor, stable processor, but in the first folder, not into the packages. We'll be doing the same thing. Only that we would be using unlimited. Let's see what I've done. And not. Okay, we're gonna need to remove file, allowing or adding ignore. Yes, adding ignore. Will give us error later on because the packages are inside. So best thing would be putting it as a key. So, for example, processor over here. And then import num in the top over here. We're gonna do a try, for example, and the top search packages. Let's try numpeg, num. Okay. And we're just gonna take the old one that we have and just gonna paste it there and modify it. Check now the old version. Yes, it's concentrate. And we're gonna do like with whisper. Let's check. the same way we tested. I installed. We're gonna part back to overhead. So what we can do is copy the part, place here, place that, and just from UI to that. Right. Yeah, turbo is missing, so we're gonna take it again from our. Let me see. Overhead. We can add it, but not small turbo. I can really see. You have it here. We do it to another format. So if you see over here turbo, it's so what we can do is vlarge tree and try to add it and see if it would give us the model. Otherwise, we can use the normal models. So over here, what it says choice turbo, choice tiny. Okay, let's look for this. But if the correct way is actually to put it at turbo, no, actually we need to do a map for it the same way. So let me just remap it first. Okay, so because this version stable actually doesn't have, it has only those charts. So what we can do is add it to large and see what it's gonna do. And let's check what it's gonna be using. It should be using the GPU. Perfect. The model is too large, so it may take a while to load the model and run it because we use a large version. And as they say, the more long, the more the quality is. So each model of Whisper added inside here are different model. There's fast model, there's slow model, which actually load. And even For large, if you put it through the CPU, it would be actually running more faster because in the GPU, what it does, it actually load the model into your GPU, then start processing, which give it heavy work. Although you can use your CPU, meaning that the model is already in your disk, you don't need to load it. But for processing faster, the GPU is more better because it's 10 times faster. Even though that you're loading the model, that's the slow time. But once it starts transcribing, it is really faster than the CPU. Like for long context, like a movie, using your CPU would take you approximately an hour or two, but using the GPU may take a while to load it the first and then it start running. Right now we're downloading now with transcription and here it is doing the transcript. So now it start after using 50% of the GPU to the model, now it's using the rest actually to reinforce. As you can see, we have already reached our limit. And now it's complete. I'll use a large model that may take you a while, but if you want, you can test it with a small model or base. They are the most fastest. But if you need quality, if you have context which will go unclear, you rather actually use heavy models like this one. So we're finished with the second pair. Now we're building like small pieces, and then we're gonna gather the whole higher piece all together. But in order to do so, we need to make sure that each part of the software itself it's functional, has in its own no conflicts, no nothing. So if I any let's say any object, any string, any array, any or any byte, let's say, or any data array object, string, boolean, whatever, should be actually working by itself, standalone, relying on the G, or not relying on the UI actually packages, which actually solve the most complicated problem which one has, which is called package conflict, like this one's over here, and everyone likes to their project thinking that there is no way to pass. Actually, the only way to pass it is like this way, where you are building parts, break by break, and then merging all the breaks together, where they can run separately and then they can run through. Consider like the GUI would be just a man that send the request and display the request back, but the entire thing has input output, which you're gonna manage to collect data from those points and getting back your logs of the process. Now we're gonna try. Now we're gonna have to. I'm gonna have to pass all of those models, make sure that they're all running. Then we can run to the GUI. That's mean that a lot of debugging, and this may take actually days, or if we are lucky, we can do it today. So again, let's add a processor. So if you're wondering, this is how we actually gonna be detecting our speakers. You can get the model from HugeFace and download it. Make sure actually it's run, because you're gonna have a lot of complication. Make sure to agree on the terms, otherwise it will not work. And make sure to have a key, generate a key actually, in order actually to get it working. Otherwise, you will fail into complication of making it running properly. Also, set the key of Fusion environment. You can try to set it by command up front, just to set it while you are running. Or you can add it into your code by adding aos.env and then squares, and then inside, paste inside the key in mark. I can show you later an example. Same as you are writing in the shell commands. Now, again, our torch is located on the tree, so let me shout out. You don't have to run this multiple times. So this one would be the ampere, and actually we should make it first. So it chooses the torch from here, then uses the rest of the packages from the bottom. Because if I put it in the top, it will use the first one prioritized, then the second one. And both of them have torch inside. Each one is a version, has its own version of torch. Now, since we have so what I may do is I may actually remove this. Let's make sure that it runs on, yeah. So as you can see, the problem was the packages. If we keep the packages which has a torch already, it would lead us to that. Now, since we have this, but we still have one more issue. It says audio input error, so we're gonna need to install inside its own, let me see, its own Skyeng. Okay, so let's try to no depths inside the folder, not inside the package. Usually because I have multiple, I'm using multiple version of this within the entire project structure. So let's try again. Now it should be loading. Let's see actually what it is loading. Now we see the CPU is being used over here. And let's see what's again, it's missing the name import error, cannot import name. We need multi-yes. Gonna put it down. Let me see, I do have the package outside. I used to have the packages inside packages. So I can remove this one silently and then or I can, sorry, we're gonna put the package first, and since the recent is what we're gonna be taking, let me try again. Yes, so I take the recent one, which is the DR. Now the problem is CPU, and then let me see. Let me check my local AI, what it's gonna be saying about resolving this one. So, oh yeah, actually, I'm missing one package. Which let me see, where is actually the num package 1, 2, 3. I don't know. The packages is actually creating too much conflict. So we'll try back again. No. Oh, sorry. Actually, my mistake. Should be as this. So we're gonna have to remove the num. We're gonna remove the rest. We're gonna create a file inside here. Should be on UI path and num. That way we should have the argument. Making sure to do this again. Hey there, how are you doing? What I am making? Well, I am actually trying to solve the conflict between packages and trying to get a multimodal software in a single model. So that's what I'm doing. Making actually. Let's see now. Import, so it's trying to import the package, but seems failing to get it. And then we remove that old file and replace with this one. Let's see. Let me see that we have it right. Apply. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna redo the installation again, making sure that all the packages are been actually correctly inside the path over here. The GPU is working, which is a good sign, so I don't need actually to run through. So it actually pick what GPU do I have, and give me the name, then it prioritize depending on the choice. By default, if you don't have a GPU, you will still have access to the software, But if you have a GPU, it would be 10 times faster than the normal users using the CPU. Also, it has preference where actually you can set by, even if you have a GPU and let's say you don't want to run it into your GPU, you would like actually to test the CPU, you can do so actually. Because not none of all the computers are gaming computers, and none of all the computers have GPU. Some of the user may have CPU, so you need to make in consideration when making a product that those are actually in the consideration. So no limit users. So do not limit your products for users. So do not mind this because that's in the other package, but since it's using the saved environment JSON, it still think that they are installed into this environment while they are not. They are actually in the target. So now we should have a clean installation. Yeah, for FMG, which I do have, that is not an issue. The good news is we got things working. Transcription went through, token not required, but FMG version 7.8 did not load. So I do have it, so let me just look if I still have the. So we may actually add it inside the package itself. So what I'm gonna do is either you can have it as a software or as an executable, which I have. It's actually in the desktop. Either either. So let's. Okay, let us reinstall. So what we're gonna do in this command is removing those folders inside here of the package which caused the problem. Then we're gonna install a compatible with Python 3 because I have set the environment to this Python. And then we're gonna reinstall again the package and then we can retest again. And as I said, when you put a dash T, that's mean targeting folder would be this location. It could be at the same level as your command. Like for example, over here we put CD to this location. So even if we are like in a different panel, we make sure we don't create the file in the wrong place. So we make sure we CD to here first and then remove the folders based on the direction, like I explained earlier. So
لو قالت غادي نقول لكم شي حاجه خطيره ردوا لها البال. نهار 23 سبتمبر الجاي انتخابات في المغرب. كتشوفوا هذه الحرب اللي نايضه على على وزير الداخليه على كذا، كاين واحد الخوف وواحد الرعب عند اللي باعوا الوطن مع اللي شراو الوطن، ان انتخابات ما تعطيش من هنا تما ما ترى شي حاجه يختلف فيها حتى الشعب، تبقى شي حاجه ما وليش عليها. انا تنأكد لكم اللي في هاد الشهرين الجايه ولا 3 شهور على ابعد تقدير غادي يهتموا الفرصه ديال هذا البرلمان الفاسد من غير الناس اللي كيدافعوا على المغاربه بصح، وغادي يوركوا عليه ما حد عنده الاغلبيه، وما غيقولوش لا باش يدوزوا ذاك القانون ديال تشريف الصهاينه ويدوزوا القانون بالمناسبه ديال تهمه معاداه ساميه. اخاف عليكم من هذا فقط القتال. تحملوا مسؤوليتكم، تحملوا مسؤوليتكم. لقاش الا مشاو تعطيو الجنسيه المليون ديال دوك الناس جمعوا راسكم صافي سلام. لقاش مليون ديال دوك الناس غادي يمركيو عليكم بينالتيات نتوما 37 غيتكرفسوا عليكم. 450 الف منهم مسولفين فرنسا اللي فيها 80 مليون الناس، دوله متقدمه، شادين الاعلام، شادين المراكز، حتى المنصب الرئاسه كرسول رئاسه البرلمان، شادين كلشي وحاشاكم كيتسولوا على الشعب الفرنسي اللي ولا دابا كيوعى كيسمع. ف نتوما مليون يعني غادي كما قال داك الشيخ اللي قالوا غتوليو خباز عندهم. خصكم تطلبوا استفتاء، خصكم تطلبوا، ما فهمتش، خصكم تطلبوا استفتاء وتكون لجان شعبيه هي اللي في مراكز الاقتراع. ما درتوهاش فريمون سالات الحفله ديالكم نقول لكم ستندمون قريبا، ستندمون ولن ينفعكم الندم. لا تنأديوا رسالة تخرجوا حضارية حضارية طلبوا من ملك البلاد الى استفتاء في القضيه هذه. خاص يدار، وإلا ما غاديش يدار يعني ما بقيت المؤسسه ما بقاش تحكم، وإلا بقات المؤسسات ما بقاش تحكم عاجزه باش دير استفتاء وتلبي الرغبه ديال 37 مليون ديال الخلق، هذيك 37 مليون هي اللي خطأوا القرار من بعد. كيف متعلقه بكم؟ ما فهمتش بزاف على الكبره وبزاف على الهرمونات وبزاف على الدرويش. من هنا 3 شهور 4 شهور 5 شهور من هنا راس العام غادي تكون الامور اللي كنهضروا عليها اليوم اصبحت متجاوزه، غتكونوا في واحد الوضعيه اخرى.
السلام عليكم.
الناس اجدروا فيكم اصحاب لنا اسرائيل كالعالم الكوني واصل الجماعه. ملي كتشوف السبع دايز واش ضروري يعلق بادج هنا يكتب انا خطير باش تيقوا؟ ها ولا كتلقى دايز ما مسوقش ليك انت كاع واش كاين ولا ما كاينش؟ علاش؟ لانه السبع مليون تيخلع باش كونو سبع وما محتاجش يقول لك انا خطير باش تيقوا، ولكن تيتمشى ديما بشويه مبسوط. دابا تخيل معايا فار عرفتي فار وخارج ودافع السدر وكذا وكاتب انا خطير جدا. راك انت عفار؟ لا واخا فار انت راه ما عرفنيش انا كيفاش داير، انا راه مصيبه ديال الفيران، راه نضربك على الصندوق راك انت عفار. لانك ملي كتكون سبع ما كتحتاجش توريها للناس، لا كتكون حاني الراس متواضع انت سبع. ملي كتكون فار كتنوض لنا حلاله. ملي كتشوف السبع دايز واش ضروري يعلق بادج هنا يكتب انا خطير باش تيقوا؟ ها ولا كتلقى دايز ما مسوقش ليك انت كاع واش كاين ولا ما كاينش؟ علاش؟ لانه السبع مليون تيخلع باش كونو سبع وما محتاجش يقول لك انا خطير باش تيقوا، ولكن تيتمشى ديما بشويه مبسوط. دابا تخيل معايا فار عرفتي فار وخارج ودافع السدر وكذا وكاتب انا خطير جدا. راك انت عفار؟ لا واخا فار انت راه ما عرفنيش انا كيفاش داير، انا راه مصيبه ديال الفيران، راه نضربك على الصندوق راك انت عفار. لانك ملي كتكون سبع.
Sorry guys, I was actually my phone. I forgot that I put it to TikTok. My apologies. Well, I am making. So I'm trying, like I said, I'm trying to put multiple models into a single model software. So I can run multiple options without having problem of conflict. So that's what I'm doing. Let me see where I think I do have it into C, so I'm just gonna need to locate it and use it. So I'm just gonna reinstall Torch with no depth. Give me 1 second. Remember when I told you that you can actually use OS? I'll show you right now. OS and B and put whatever you want. So we're gonna do that right now. For example, let me just so I can be able to see the stream if someone make a comment. And be able to read in your comments. Okay, by the way, what are you making? Can you tell me in the comments? Can you hear me? I said like I was solving the conflict of packages, gathering them all together. So the models are whispers. You never heard of whispers? What's transcribed text? Other models are used actually for cloning voice from different languages to different languages, taking a text string and returning an audio file with a voice. So yeah. So I reinstalled this. I'm just gonna add in here. So let's type a bit. Been a while not typing. So you open and you set LS. By the way, this is a Python. It's already a Python package already in your Python. You don't need actually to add it. And you just put environment. And then I'm just gonna put FFmpege is useful. And then dash fact would be equal to the location of our path, which I think I have already copied here. Just copy it, put it here, and what we're gonna do is double the dashes again, and then I'm gonna write f mpg another double f mpg dot executable, which is the executable path. And then we're gonna say over dot actually this should be some over and that. So always capital, lowercase, equal. And now we're gonna break down this part. So we're gonna put this and then c dot slash f and e g. And then we're gonna add last sign, and then also again dot cat sub, then also dot env dot get, then you're gonna get the path. You can also do the same to set the environment key. Just put over here out key, a huge out key, and then paste it here and pass it through. So it would be pasted in the environment. Now let me try again and see if this time we have the same issues. We still have a callback problem. FMG, let me see what FFM check again with local. Problem is the access byte when passed correctly. Oh yeah, I made a mistake. I missed a P here. My apologies for that. Let's try again. Let me do one thing. Actually, my mistake is installing it through here. Well, inside here, if I'm not wrong. Hoovers, I think, is the one having the package. So bear with me just 1 second. I'm just gonna need to find the old method, and then from there we can check if we can apply the same. Um, transport. So that's wrong. Okay. Okay, I'm using the pip line, which should be imported from pi.pip.line. Okay, so if I take a copy of this and put it here, I may actually be able to access it. I'm gonna need to activate download. Oh, sure. I think I have an audio docker to processor manager, not into processors, audio processor. Oh, this is an audio processor. Doc, no. A Pi processor. Yeah, let me see. No, let's just clean this so that turn into disaster. Well, actually, we got the speakers over here, which didn't exist. I mean, it's working, but only the Docker is not there. Now, let me see. We're gonna try to. It's just the error message would still pop up. Yeah. So try again. I'm not gonna need a token, but we need actually. And this is a problem because it's used the wrong package as such, which doesn't exist. That's why it's not running properly. I'm sorry for that. This is the correct. No, let's see. Mhm. Mhm. How did we do it in Whisper Stable? Okay, packages first, and then main processor should be the first package. So let me refine it. Yeah, the CPU, GPU is true, which we have bypassed. Now, you see, we didn't get any model warning for FGP, which means it's been detected. The wave is being processed, and as you can see, if we manage to put everything correctly as it's supposed to be, it should be running no problems. But at the end, of course, now we reach to the line 29, which says DSR. Dicer, which I need to highlight it in the models. Copy. Let's check there. And I have new dicer, which have so let me just take this and press paste it and paste this one here. And so we're just gonna ask for the model inside, so we choose it the same way that we wrote down this over here, path direction plus on the top. We will do the same thing again, just to highlight the model. So let me just take the use tracking offline. Okay. Since I have the DSR, which highlight. So because I have it already created, so I don't want to run again through the hassle again and do it back again. So I'm just gonna run it through inside here directly. The problem of the DSL that we need because I'm putting it offline, skipping everything. But the packages, I don't know if they're gonna be working directly or I'm gonna need to import them back. But let's test and see. Inside here, we're gonna do this. We're gonna create a part inside here. And we're gonna call processor inside so we can be using it almost everywhere. And now let's test. Okay, we do have one issue back again on default. And that's because not putting the proper directions. Let me try again. I'm just gonna have to pass on its processor output port. Okay. So we're gonna try to perfect. So we don't actually need to call this one. We're gonna create same functionality and same functions. And it says we don't have FT. So what I'll do is instead of installing it, I do have it. Just need to add it over. Yes, again. So processor pi, and I'm gonna add it over here at the end, and it's located to processor package. Now, Yeah, because his problem that he called it before, which is wrong. Should be called after packages over here. Default. It can read it. No. Okay. Forward process. I have actually split the project between few packages around so I can use them. Again, yeah, into audio to text function. And define metadata voice language. That's the last one. And then I'm gonna go for a break. Let's see you after the break. Well. Loading by load. So we have few achievement for there. So I'll catch up with you after break, guys.